Close your eyes for a moment and think about tea. Maybe you see a quiet morning, steam rising from a cup. Maybe you hear the kettle whistle, or maybe you remember someone you love sitting across the table, sharing stories over tea. Tea is more than just a drink. It is a ritual. It is the pause in a busy day. It is comfort when you feel anxious. For billions of people, tea is not optional. It is essential. But where did this quiet drink come from? How did a wild plant growing on Chinese mountains become the center of trade, politics, and daily life across every continent? The answer is not simple. It involves emperors and merchants, pirates and revolutionaries, monks and scientists. So pour yourself a cup, get comfortable, because this is the story of tea, a story that began with one curious emperor and changed the world forever. Our story begins over 4,000 years ago in the mountains of ancient China. According to legend, there was an emperor named Shen Nong. He was not just a ruler, he was also a healer and a scientist. One day, while Shen Nong was boiling water under a wild tea tree, a few leaves fell into his pot. He was about to throw the water away. But then he noticed the color changing. The water turned golden. The smell was fresh and pleasant. Being curious, Shen Nong tasted the water. Immediately, he felt something change in his body. His mind became clearer. His energy increased. He felt calm and focused at the same time. This was not an ordinary plant. It was something powerful. From that moment, tea became part of Chinese medicine. Healers used it to help digestion. They gave it to people who felt tired or weak. For centuries, tea was not a social drink, it was medicine, but that was about to change. By the Tang dynasty, around the 8th century, tea had transformed completely. It was no longer just medicine, it had become an art form, a way of life. People developed special ceremonies for preparing and drinking tea. A scholar named Lu Yu wrote a book called The Classic of Tea. In it, he described every detail: the best water for tea, the perfect temperature, the right way to heat the leaves. His book turned tea from a simple drink into a spiritual practice. Tea houses appeared in every city. They became places where people met, talked, debated, and shared ideas. Poets wrote about tea. Artists painted it. Monks used it to stay awake during long hours of meditation. Tea had become culture itself. But tea would not stay in China forever. Across the mountains, across the seas, people heard stories of this magical leaf, and they wanted it. Tea began its journey west along the Silk Road, the ancient network of trade routes connecting China to the Middle East and Europe. Merchants carried it in heavy boxes. Travelers told stories about its effects. Kings and queens heard about it and demanded to try it. When tea first arrived in Europe in the 1600s, it was incredibly expensive. 1 pound of tea could cost as much as a worker's monthly salary. Only the wealthy could afford it. Tea became a symbol of status and power. The British especially fell in love with tea. They created the ritual of afternoon tea. They built massive trading companies to import it. And soon, tea became the center of the British economy. But there was a problem. All the tea came from China, and China controlled the price. So the British made a decision that would change history. They decided to steal tea plants from China and grow them somewhere else. Somewhere they controlled. That place was India. In the hills of India, British colonizers created massive tea plantations. Thousands of workers paid very little, grew and harvested tea leaves every single day. The conditions were harsh. The work was exhausting. But tea production exploded. Suddenly, tea was no longer expensive. It flooded the market. Ordinary workers in Britain could afford it. Tea became the national drink. People drank it at breakfast. They drank it during work breaks. They drank it when they were sad, tired, or celebrating. But tea did not just change Britain. It changed the world. In America, tea sparked a revolution. The famous Boston Tea Party was a protest against British taxes on tea. Colonists dumped 342 chests of tea into Boston Harbor. This event helped start the American War of Independence. Think about that. A drink so valuable that people fought wars over it. A drink so powerful that it could start a revolution. tea was no longer just a beverage, it was politics, it was economics, it was power. Fast forward to today. Walk into any supermarket and you will see hundreds of types of tea: green tea, black tea, white tea, oolong, herbal blends, tea bags, loose leaf, iced tea, matcha lattes. The options are endless. But here's what is remarkable. Despite all the modern changes, tea is still, at its heart, the same simple thing. Hot water, leaves, time. The same process that Shennong discovered 4,000 years ago still works today. Science has taught us why tea makes us feel good. It contains two important chemicals, caffeine and L-theanine. Caffeine wakes us up, L-theanine calms us down. Together, they create a perfect balance, alert but relaxed, awake but not anxious. And maybe that is why tea has survived for so long. In a fast, chaotic world, tea forces us to slow down, just for a moment, just long enough to breathe, to think, to be present. Today, tea connects cultures across the entire world. In Japan, tea is ceremony and meditation. In Morocco, mint tea is hospitality and friendship. In Britain, tea is tradition and comfort. In India, chai is energy and community. In China, tea is art and philosophy. Each culture has made tea its own, but the core idea remains the same. Tea is a pause, a moment of care. Whether you're drinking alone or with loved ones, tea reminds you to stop, to notice, to be here, right now. From ancient Chinese mountains to your kitchen table, tea has traveled an incredible journey. It has survived wars, revolutions, and empires. It has crossed oceans, it has changed languages, and yet it remains simple, humble, quiet. So the next time you hold a warm cup of tea in your hands, remember this: you are holding 4,000 years of history. You are continuing a ritual that emperors, monks, revolutionaries, and billions of ordinary people have shared. You are part of something bigger than yourself. Take your time, notice the steam, feel the warmth, taste the flavor. This simple act connects you to millions of people today and billions more across time. That is the power of tea, not in its taste, but in what it represents. Patience, presence, peace. Thank you for listening. This is English with Claire. If you enjoyed this story, leave a comment about your favorite type of tea. And remember, sometimes the greatest adventures are found in the quietest moments. See you next time.